Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Julie and I primarily make content surrounding topics such as mental health, makeup, as well as music. Today's video is for my Let's Get Clinical series. Currently we are focusing on eating disorders and today's video is going to be about orthorexia. Typically I read from the DSM regarding mental health conditions. Unfortunately, orthorexia is not yet in the DSM. However, it is acknowledged by the ICD, which is the International Classification of Diseases. So it is truly a mental health condition. I also want to validate it further because I did some research on scholarly databases that I have access to through school, and there was a little bit of research about orthorexia, and it actually is referred to as orthorexia nervosa. And this is because other countries, I believe, follow the ICD and diagnosed differently if they don't use the DSM. I'm going to read you some information about orthorexia from NEDA's website. That's the National Eating Disorder Association. So they mention it's not recognized in the DSM, but awareness of it is becoming on the rise. The term orthorexia itself was created in 1998 and had to do with an obsession with proper or healthful eating. Although being aware of and concerned with the nutritional quality of the food you eat isn't a problem in that of itself, people with orthorexia become so fixated on healthy eating or clean eating that they actually damage their own well-being. According to NEDA, the warning signs and symptoms of orthorexia include compulsive checking of ingredient lists as well as nutritional labels, an increase in concern about the health of ingredients, cutting out an increasing number of food groups such as sugar, carbs, dairy, meat, and animal products, an inability to eat anything but a narrow group of foods that are deemed healthy or pure, unusual interest in the health of what others are eating, spending hours per day thinking about what food might be served at upcoming events, showing high levels of distress when safe or healthy foods aren't available, obsessive following of food and healthy lifestyle blogs on Twitter and Instagram, as well as body image concerns may or may not be present. Similarly to anorexia, there can be health consequences within orthorexia because the individual may be suffering from malnutrition, which can have physical consequences over time. Unfortunately, due to the lack of clinical research on orthorexia, there is limited information surrounding the potential prevalence of this mental health condition. However, I did find a research article from PubMed that was published in 2017 where they found prevalence of orthorexia nervosa to be less than 1% in a US sample. Unfortunately, this is only one research study and one sample. There absolutely may be a higher percentage of individuals suffering from this condition. However, we do have a limited amount of information on it. I do want to mention the previous warning sign that had to do with a restrictive diet. There's a difference between becoming a vegetarian or vegan for your health or ethical concerns or values and doing so to restrict. So some individuals have actually recovered from their orthorexia or eating disorder through becoming vegan, and it's been a positive thing for them. Whereas for other individuals, I know specifically Abby Sharp, who is a registered dietitian, struggled with orthorexia and realized that she could not sustain being vegan due to her orthorexia. So it can go either way for people. I don't think that having a specific diet in general is a warning sign of an eating disorder unless the person is identifying that they can't eat those things because they're unhealthy. And although there may be a belief that animal products are unhealthy, I'm not docking that at all. I think a plant-based lifestyle is totally the way to go. Restricting various food groups is a common theme for people with orthorexia, anorexia, etc., and a vegan diet may or may not be sustainable for individuals with eating disorders. So I just want to keep that in mind because I think veganism is great and I don't want a vegan diet to be confused with this diagnosis. In regard to treatment options and the clinical basis of orthorexia, I did find a research article written in 2015 that goes into further detail describing orthorexia. So I'm going to read some of that to you today. We have orthorexia nervosa literally means proper appetite. It's a fixation on healthy food that's been described as a disease disguised as a virtue. It's often associated with significant impairment, which starts as an attempt to attain optimum health through attention to diet, but can lead to malnourishment, loss of relationships, and poor quality of life. As previously mentioned in other videos, eating disorders absolutely can impact interpersonal relationships, which is why interpersonal therapy is an effective treatment for them for some individuals. We have some symptoms of orthorexia here, including that individuals are typically concerned by the quality as opposed to the quantity of food in their diet. They may spend considerable time scrutinizing the source of their food, whether their vegetables, for example, have been exposed to pesticides or if dairy products came from hormone supplemented cows. They may also be concerned with processing, whether certain micronutrients are lost during cooking or if cooking diminishes the nutritional value of the food they are putting together. They also have a fixation on food quality. Individuals with this mental health condition may also struggle with nutritional deficiencies due to omitting entire food groups. Although there is a limited amount of evidence, there is research and clinical evidence that points to this extremism in a diet can lead to similar medical complications to anorexia nervosa, such as osteopenia, anemia, hyponatremia, metabolic acidosis, testosterone deficiency, and bradycardia. Individuals with orthorexia may also experience intense frustration when their food-related practices are disrupted. They also may experience guilt or self-loathing when they commit food transgressions, meaning they are not sticking to that clean diet they're obsessed with. Individuals with orthorexia are also at risk for social isolation, just like many other eating disorders, because they may believe they can only maintain this healthy eating when they're alone and in control of their surroundings, and they may adopt a stance of moral superiority regarding their food habits so that they don't wish to interact with others because it could deter them from their maladaptive behaviors or coping mechanisms, however you want to look at it. The author also mentions that anorexia nervosa and obsessive compulsive disorder are often comorbid, which I have described in previous videos. OCD or obsessive compulsive disorder is often comorbid with eating disorders, and they are finding similarities between anorexia nervosa as well as OCD within the symptoms of orthorexia. There is also often overlap in symptoms or comorbidity between orthorexia and OCPD, which is obsessive compulsive personality disorder. Similarities between OCPD and orthorexia include perfectionism, rigid thinking, excessive devotion, hypermorality, and a preoccupation with details and perceived rules. So individuals with OCPD, it's not just that they have obsessive intrusive thoughts and compulsions they act on like OCD, it rules their entire life, hence it being a full-blown personality disorder. They tend to be perfectionists, they want order in every aspect of their life, and not just want that for themselves, they want that for everyone involved in their life. And I can make a video on OCPD soon if you would like that as well. In regard to treatment options for orthorexia, similarly to prevalence, there is a limited amount of research. Therefore, from what I have looked into, there are no current evidence-based practices to treat this mental health condition. However, it still can be treated, especially since it has similarities with OCD and anorexia nervosa symptoms. According to Netta's website, treatment can involve psychotherapy, as well as increasing the variety of foods eaten and exposure to anxiety-provoking or feared foods, as well as weight restoration if it is needed. The next video that will come out after this one is going to be delving into all treatment options for eating disorders, what they are, what might be the best fit for individuals depending, and I'm keeping it short here with treatment options, but IPT, interpersonal therapy might be effective, CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, DBT, dialectical behavior therapy, medication may be helpful, specifically SSRIs have some research that they help to treat eating disorders potentially, depending on the individual. General psychotherapy can be helpful, and if there is any trauma behind the eating disorder, trauma treatment such as trauma processing or EMDR could be helpful as well. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel as well. Leave a comment down below letting me know if you've heard of orthorexia nervosa before and what your thoughts are on it. You can follow me on my social medias if you'd like. My Instagram is Julie_counseling. My Twitter is JulieCounseling with no underscore, and my Facebook page will be linked down below as well. And I'll catch you on the flip side.